If you guys are considering AI to do trading, this is a video you want to watch. We're going to break it all down because now you can use Claude to get into crypto trading and others. And I think one of the things that you have to consider is this easy? Well, we're going to find out today. So let's get started. You've probably heard me mention Uphold before, and there's a reason I keep talking about them. Uphold makes it incredibly easy to bridge the gap between your portfolio and the real world. This has not been done before. Their Uphold debit card is the best example of that. It lets you spend your crypto or your cash anywhere Visa is accepted, all while earning 4% back in XRP on every purchase. It's the easiest way to stack rewards on your daily spending. Download the Uphold app for more and get started. I want to bring in Franklyn Wang, who is the CEO of LiquidX AI. Franklyn, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Excellent. So we gotta take a look at a few things. First situation, of course, the CFTC comes in, approves Perps. We're in a whole new world now. What does this mean for companies like yourselves and just the general markets?
This is among the best news we could have ever hoped for. One of Liquid's platforms lets you trade perpetual futures. Historically, people have always sort of viewed this with an element of suspicion and disdain. And I think that's really unfortunate because perpetual futures are potentially the greatest instrument ever made. They let anyone get exposure to any asset in the world. A farmer in India who wants to get exposure to the US stock market, you can't do that normally, but you can with perpetual futures. Perpetual futures are the most efficient way of making markets global and 24/7 and universal across all assets. However, one of the main barriers for adoption of perpetual futures has been this constant suspicion that we're doing something wrong. This type of announcement, I think this kind of announcement is very important for mass adoption because suddenly it says this is okay now, this is totally legal to trade on. And in terms of driving consumer trust, that's extremely important, right? So the people who ended up winning were people who were very willing to skirt the law, people who set up all these offshore entities, who protected themselves from liability. And that was because if you try to do it the right way, it wasn't possible. And this means that doing it the right way is now possible. And that is music to our ears.
Yeah, well, I think it's music to the market's ears as well. If you look at what Selig said, this morning, the CFTC took historic action to permit a listing of a true Bitcoin perpetual contract. Robinhood, of course, launched their AI tools. This has been something that they've been talking about for quite some time. You guys have somewhat beat them to the market, I guess, with CoInvest. And I think this changes the game in general. When you look at the ability to scale, are you guys ready for that right now? Because the likelihood is we're going to see a lot of people going this direction.
We are absolutely ready. Liquid has been around for over a year. It has served at least 50,000 users, generally with a very, very low rate of issues. We have had very few problems, and we are absolutely ready to scale to millions and millions of people.
What blockchain are you guys on?
We don't view ourselves as being built on top of a blockchain. Liquid is very much a platform that's built across multiple exchanges, and we can easily plug and play to any exchange we want. So we've already added support for Hyperliquid, Lighter, Ostium, Kalshi, Polymarket, a bunch of upcoming partnerships I can't quite talk about. We are chain agnostic. We very much would like to be considered as the future of trading and not tied to a particular chain.
Explain how CoInvest works. I'm brand new to Liquid. I want to log on and get involved. I can jump over to CoInvest right here. How is this going to benefit traders?
There's a lot of ways you can look at this. One of which is that trading, I think, is the most intelligence-constrained human endeavor that most people go through, right? Like, do you need AI to help you buy shoes? Probably not. Buying shoes is pretty straightforward, and people really enjoy the process of buying shoes. But generally, people don't like the process of picking stocks. It's viewed as a form of work, right? People are like, investors are always like, we put in the work. No one buying shoes is like, I put in the work to buy the best shoes. Trading is fundamentally the most intelligence-constrained endeavor that most of us undergo, right? Like, you don't know whether the stock will go up or down. It's really hard, right? Like, people spend their lives trying to figure out if stocks will go up or down, and they can't figure it out. All of a sudden, we have this super intelligence that can help you just make better decisions with universal markets. And that's CoInvest.
What is the difference between CoInvest and an average trader just going out, setting up a Claude bot and utilizing it for research on, the top 50 active stocks on the traditional, maybe the top 10 cryptos, etc. What's the difference between what that can offer and what this could offer?
It lets you have your entire experience inside of Claude and ChatGPT. What CoInvest does is it brings the execution layer, like the buy sell, inside of Claude and ChatGPT. For one, this makes it much more convenient, right? You can get started on CoInvest without like making API keys or like anything like that. You just click connect and you're ready to go. So that's the first part of it. The second is that by using CoInvest, you're able to show the AI sort of whether you ended up buying this or not, right? If you just ask the AI what stocks to buy, and then you go and buy the stocks, the AI won't know whether you bought the stocks or not, right? Mm-hmm. If you ask it a new question, it can draw upon all of its prior experience, right?
Okay, all right.
And the issue with connecting, if you ask Claude to pick some stocks, right? Well, it can do that for anyone. Like it'll say the same things to everyone. There's no alpha there, right? If you connect CoInvest to Claude, it can draw upon all of its experience it's ever seen that it's seen you do, right? So it's seen that you've traded many times at 2 a.m. and it can see that maybe those trades didn't work out. And it can tell you, hey, in the future, maybe don't trade at 2 a.m. If it's like, hey, you're really good at getting big tech earnings right, you might want to size up this time. These are all of a sudden within the realm of possibility, and it's able to help you make consistently better decisions.
Obviously, this goes into a fee structure. If you look at the current fee structures out there, you can kind of compare against things like Coinbase, Robinhood, IBC, and then you go all the way into Hyperliquid, which right now is one of the best. How do you guys compete when it comes to fees against TradFi?
Our fees are up to like 10x lower than, say, Robinhood's. So on Robinhood, if you buy Bitcoin, you're paying a fee of 65 basis points. Mm-hmm. You're also paying spreads. On Liquid, if you buy access to a coin, you're paying 7 basis points, which is about 10x lower.
Yeah.
Coinbase's fees are even higher. Mm-hmm. Coinbase fees might be up to 130 basis points for very, very basic trades. So our fee structure is like 10x lower.
So when people get started, should they start on paper mode first? Is that the kind of the plan for graduating into a full-on co-invest strategy?
So co-invest supports a paper mode and a live mode. The paper mode.
Explain the two so our audience can kind of understand.
Absolutely. So paper mode is one in which you trade with a simulated balance, right? Here's 10,000 like marbles. And you can like use the marbles, but none of that corresponds to like real money, right?
Yeah.
But if you buy something and it goes up, you will get more marbles. And if it goes down, then you have fewer marbles. It helps you gain confidence with our platform.
Does it take some of that trading tactics that are happening in paper mode and apply it to the full real co-invest mode once you go live?
The tactics are reusable between these. The tactics are completely reusable because I actually don't think Claude really knows whether you're in paper mode or or live mode, right? So to Claude, it's all the same.
Interesting. All right, so you got to kind of address this because this is something that everybody wonders, and I've wondered because I've put a couple of Claude bots together. The first thing I run into is what I call the token wall. Co-invest, does it eat up tokens? What's the process for it? Utilize the tool.
This is a fantastic question. Co-invest, so there are a lot of products in the AI and trading space, but co-invest is actually pretty different from how they tend to work. The typical AI trading product is like something you run in your terminal that you use, and you tell it to go look up some data sources and it like place some trades for you. Whereas ours works in Claude's front end. One reason why we choose to locate ourselves in Claude's front end is so that this way Claude can sort of self-improve from what you're doing, and it can get access to more information, and it also is easier to set up. But the second benefit is that if you're already paying for Claude, co-invest is essentially included free of charge. Wow. You don't have to pay for tokens if you use co-invest.
Right.
If you're paying for a subscription to Claude or using Claude free, you don't have to pay per token if you're using co-invest. So co-invest is essentially included for free with your Claude subscription.
Wow. Okay. That's going to probably get a lot of people excited about trying it. And, just for those that are out there, I think obviously I would test it in paper mode just to kind of get a feeling of how you want to expose this. Other things I want to kind of hit on is the news coming out of the DTCC We saw the most recent, partnership with Stellar. They're tokenizing securities around a settlement platform. When you look at the DTCC right now, would you consider them behind still with where this market is heading?
The DTCC is like some kind of middleware. I understand why it exists. It is sort of the ultimate arbiter of whether you own a stock or not. Right. But I think that the way they handle things can often be rather inefficient. They still, for example, impose like T+1 settlement. They require that a broker post collateral. So maybe you saw the Robinhood GameStop story where they asked Robinhood to give them to post $3 or $4 billion of collateral to cover the GameStop shares just in case they were broken. None of that really makes sense. Like Robinhood, to their credit, got very lucky and was able to find $4 billion to sort of post those shares. But that is very strange. That shouldn't need to happen. Like in crypto, we got it right. The tokens are in your wallet, whether they're stocks or whatever. Some random institution saying that they need $4 billion does not affect whether that happens or not. If Liquid goes bankrupt, your assets are safe. That's kind of
That's a huge feature right now with the way
if Liquid goes,
it works. So
right, if you put your money in FTX, it's gone. If Liquid goes bankrupt, your money is still there. You can access it through other means. Someone else can make a new version of co-invest. As a consequence, the DTCC would never ask us for $4 billion because we are just a front-end layer between you and the blockchain. You can interact with the blockchain any other way. There are a lot of reports that Robinhood almost went bankrupt in 2021 because they were forced to pay this $4 billion fine. They had to scrounge up $4 billion from all sorts of sources that kind of make that happen. That's ridiculous, right? People were going to lose their life savings if Robinhood couldn't find $4 billion. That doesn't make any sense at all.
We have a theory that when you look at what's been going on in Iran, this goes back to the reason that we've seen the rise of companies like Hyperliquid. Good example right here. Zach was tweeting about this. And this is in reference to the U.S. agreeing to perpetual futures. But at the same time, all this growth was happening, on Hyperliquid offshore. And it was mostly people looking to trade oil, all sorts of different factors in it that they couldn't get access to. That, of course, changes dramatically here. I think do you feel like the Iran war was kind of responsible for getting Perps fast-tracked?
Absolutely. I think the Iran war made weekend trading kind of look way more inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it exposed the entire market too, because you saw so many moves happening on Friday afternoon and then boom, obviously the 24/7, which is why I still am questioning what the DTCC is going to be doing, at 24/5, how they would keep up with what's happening really on a global market scale. So a big one. Now you hit a tweet right here talking about the SpaceX IPO. When you look at this right now, how can AI help manage your exposure to this IPO?
That's a great question. So you can actually ask co-invest, what does it think about SpaceX? I can actually show you a demo if you'd like.
Okay.
I've just connected co-invest to my Claude account.
Okay. Talk to me about the SpaceX market. And this is plugged into co-invest right now?
Yeah, that's co-invest, right? And so co-invest will pull up a card. It'll talk about SpaceX. It'll say that it's trading at a share price of $199.
Okay.
It'll say that the funding is dead flat at 0.00%. The big account skew is short. So another feature of co-invest that's really cool that we didn't really get to go over is that co-invest has access to a lot of on-chain data. So one thing people think about a lot in the TradFi world is how are people positioned, right? Is the smart money long or is it short? And this is actually basically unknowable because that's sort of how TradFi is designed. Yeah. But here it's completely knowable.
Do you think we'll see more AI tools out there, whether it's OpenAI, you look at what's happening with Gemini, and even to a certain extent, maybe even Perplexity? Do you think we'll see more tools like this coming, or are you guys looking to expand further? What's kind of the roadmap here for AI trading in general?
It seems pretty clear that the future will only have more and more AI. As a consequence, finance will have more and more AI in it. Co-invest has been out for a week, less than a week as of this filming. And people have already done things on co-invest that we are really shocked by. The way we think of co-invest is that we essentially just give every single Lego brick to an AI and say, do whatever you want with it, right? And sometimes it'll construct the same things that you laid out that you thought would be reasonable. But sometimes it like assembles the pieces in a way that you never would have thought possible or you never thought to do.
Well, we're gonna test it in studio, so we'll definitely get a chance, and we'll report back on this to the audience so they can kind of get it. I know because this is very new. We're going to see a lot of new advancements, I think, obviously with what you guys are doing at LiquidX. But when you look at one of the biggest advantages right now, and you think about what's happening with Clarity, and I'll just bring up the possibility. I have a couple of questions here to ask. When you look at Clarity, there's two schools of thought. One is it's going to ban stablecoin yields. That, of course, changes things to where maybe people utilizing vault tactics to be able to get yields. If you're using vault tactics, it seems like that would open up perfectly to something like a co-invest type product to manage vaults for the best opportunity of yields, just with things like USDC or any other stablecoin out there or other assets that are earning yields. Do you see that becoming a product either of LiquidX or others in the market?
We absolutely plan to integrate vaults very, very soon.
Okay.
In a few weeks, there should be an announcement. We view vaults as kind of like programmable mutual funds of sort.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Historically, mutual funds have spent some money on like research, right? But they spend most of their money on marketing themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like a big failure, right? Like money should be allocated to the best, most capable allocators, not to like whoever is spending the most on ads. That extent, we're really excited to have co-invest like analyze vaults and then direct people to like say, hey, this vault is safe. Hey, that vault is unsafe. Because as you know, sometimes vaults go bad, right? Sometimes vaults get rugged. Sometimes they get hacked. Sometimes they make trades that go against them. And co-invest should be able to much more easily diligence these and kind of help people avoid getting scammed. That's actually what I'm most excited about with co-invest.
Yep.
Crypto has a somewhat shady history with a lot of scams. Fundamentally, the reason that scams happen is because people are just, too overwhelmed with information to really always make the correct decisions. And hopefully co-invest can help them, can empower them to make better and smarter decisions.
Last question I have for you is the Clarity Act itself. If this thing goes into law this year, what kind of impact would that have on Liquid?
I am very excited that the Clarity Act will sort of add, clarity to this entire space. A lot of the things we've been doing have been kind of difficult to ascertain whether they were legal or not. And once we have regulatory clarity, every player can kind of play on the same grounds. So I'm really excited for fair and transparent competition, as opposed to like right now there's a guessing game over like, is this okay? Is this not okay? If we do this, if we don't do this because we don't think it's okay, and our competitor does it, are they going to get an advantage? Exactly. There's so much of this, just BS going on. I am really excited to kind of just follow the rules with everyone else, and then see who wins.
Yeah. Well, I like that. I mean, that's the key here, I think, going forward. You guys can learn a little bit more over at liquid.trade if you want to learn about co-invest there. We're going to do some testing on this internally. We'll report back to you guys, so we'll definitely give you some updates on that. Franklyn, thanks so much for coming in today. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Paul.
If you like this video, hit like and subscribe, drop a comment down below, and also join our free private member group. The link is in the description.